So everybody knows that the wonderful Ed Mercier is stepping down from the board and his position is open. We have 4 people who are running for this position. I think the first one we'll have speak will be Dean Button. Then we will have Lauren Acromano and Dan Rinaldi and then Kate Corbis. So come on up. Dean Button.
Yes.
Sorry for the notes. I'm 65. I have twins. I have a day job. So I want to make sure I got everything done. The day that we put in our nominating petitions, the district sent us back a questionnaire, and I've been thinking a lot about the first question, which, especially since last week's budget presentation, which was, why are you seeking a seat on the board? And I've been thinking about that, especially with an eye towards what is it that has kind of motivated me to do this, and actually what contributions I can make to the board. And so I think defining that will help you distinguish the capabilities of each of the candidates. So go ahead. So, you know, I've been a proponent and an advocate for public education for a long time. I feel very strongly about it. And my wife Susie, who you're going to hear from in a moment, we are really happy and thrilled with the experience that our kids have had at Mill Road, and we are appreciative of the tremendous job that the faculty and the administration has done over the years. But these are particularly challenging times, I think, and there are all kinds of changes going on that are impacting our kids and the world around us. And I'm not really sure we have a clear sense of how those changes and emergent trends are really impacting our kids in school. And so one of the reasons I want to explore a board seat is to kind of get a handle on that. I know that the pace of life is certainly not slowing down. The technological juggernaut that's heading towards us is not slowing down. And still we're making decisions while all of these things are swirling around us without really a comprehensive grasp on what's going on. So one of the goals and motivations for running is to have a positive impact on how the board approaches things. I think ordinarily we would not really be called upon to kind of consider the kind of deep engagement that I'm going to be talking about, but I think in these times we're really all called upon to kind of step up. And we all have a role to play, whether we're a teacher or an administrator or a parent, and I think we need to play that role as intelligently and wisely as possible, and we all need to learn to play together. And not just the people who already play together well, but we all need to play together and come together to kind of confront some challenges which I think are pretty monumental, which Paul alluded to just previously. So part of the reason, what I bring from 22 years of higher education is a real thorough understanding. I've watched kids, students, and faculty and administrators deal with some of these issues for quite a while. And I think I come away from that experience with a real understanding of what works and what doesn't work. And so one of the big takeaways I take from Rensselaer is the capacity to differentiate between approaches that I think are shallow and those that are deep. And I think that right now we need to be clear about what we're dealing with, and we need to know what we're dealing with so that we can understand whether a Band-Aid is called for or whether something deeper and more substantial is called for. What do I mean by going deep? I think in this context, I'm absolutely convinced that it requires problem solving that involves a group effort. And what I mean by group effort is something that is authentically collaborative and bottom up, that reflects from process to product what teachers and administrators and parents define as being important and meaningful, and not some PowerPoint presentation that you get from some boardroom somewhere. I think that it needs to be tethered very closely to research, tangible evidence, so that we're not flying by the pants. And I think that all of it has to be driven all the time, relentlessly by what is best for the educational needs of our students, all of the students in Reading. So, I had an earlier career in the theater, and which also gives me some experience and skills in dealing with this kind of problem solving. Because as a director, your job is to take a group of people who oftentimes don't know each other in a very small amount of time, bring them together, create a working environment that is safe and cultivates in them the freedom and the capacity to get out of their comfort zones, many times dealing with very emotional, volatile, sometimes provocative issues, and all work together to come up with actual work of art. So I know, I've seen, in my experience, I've seen very, very different people come together and work real magic in very short amounts of time. And I know it can be done. It's not extremely complex. It's actually quite simple. It's very low tech. It's face-to-face, but it takes a willingness to spend the time and do the work. So, and I know that not every issue that the board is going to be facing is going to require these kind of deep effort. But I think that as a board, you can expect me, a board member, you can expect me to be a very passionate advocate for taking the deep approach when it's called for. So I should be clear about that. Because otherwise I think that we may be able to raise our students' scores on the math tests occasionally, but in the long run we might be shortchanging them. Because they're going to be entering a very, very competitive global marketplace, workforce, and they need to be multiculturally aware and sophisticated in a way that is just as important and strong as their technical capability or their disciplinary expertise. So I think there's a lot of work to do, and I think I have some skills that might help the work, so I would appreciate that.
Now Lauren's going to speak.
Hi, my name is Lauren Arcamano. I have 2 children. One is currently a 7th grader here in the district, and I think Dean has some amazing and wonderful ideas, so I said to call on my way up. He's fired. And in answer to why I'm interested in running for the board, I have served on the district leadership team for a little bit more than a year, and am so interested in the process and all the different issues that our children are facing, and the district as an institution. And I'm also acutely aware of how excruciatingly slow things move. And so I see myself as a catalyst for getting things moving along. And in demonstration of how I do that is last year, a little over a year ago, I was walking around an empty building, and it echoed. And this year we have an amazing community center, and we have served over 10,000 people in the past year. I was faced with an empty building. We have something that we really can be proud of here. And that's really important for our community. And I'd like to take some of that energy and help the board move things along so we can address so many of the critical issues that are facing our kids. My background has been primarily in education and training, community health education. I worked for the Mental Health Association, I work for the Department of Social Services. I've been in homes here in Dutchess County without running water. I've been in homes without electricity. I've seen those kids. I worked for the early intervention program for many years. I saw these babies going home. Those who had been in the NICU for 60 days. Those kids who are at risk. So I am acutely aware of some of the many issues that our educators are facing in the classroom and so many of those struggles. And as the mom of two young ladies in this very charged environment, I'd like to see some change happen. So I'd like to be that thing. Thank you.
Dan Rinaldi.
Thank you. I'm Dan Rinaldi, for those of you that don't know me. I'm basically recently retired as a hospital administrator. Lived in Red Hook for around 14, 15 years. I'm a veteran, and for the most part, I'm an accountant by nature. Some people think of me as being critical when I look at certain things, but that's the nature of my training. As I thought about it, I made myself some notes, but usually the notes I never pay attention to them. But I wanted to just, and this was a new experience for me, which kind of focused my attention on really some of the issues that are confronting the education system. And, you know, I've had the ability to react because Charles is in the 6th grade. I have some adult sons as well that through different programs. They're both attorneys today. And so when I look at, you know, the problems that are confronting the school, and I'm going to be quick on this, forgive me, but I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. Basically, and when we look at the budget, when we look at Red Hook and we look at the state of New York, and I spent a lot of time in hospitals, you know, dealing with the state of New York, but essentially there's some really significant issues that we have to address as a community. When you look at Red Hook, you look at Dutchess County, you look at the state of New York, essentially, you know, it's the highest tax state in the country. Essentially, you know, population is decreasing. Dutchess County, by the way, population is decreasing. When I look at the budget, that's kind of the frame that I look at. And again, I don't think this is anybody's real fault, other than maybe at the state level. But when I start to look at it, I really have some serious questions about where we're going. You know, as a taxpayer, and I've talked to a lot of people, and again, I'm an accountant, everybody's concerned about the financial aspects. Believe me, I'm a person that would want us to have the highest possible education system we can have. Given that, we really have to face reality. For example, if I'm on this board, there's no way we'll ever go over the cap. I would never vote for that in another case. So again, when I look at the budget, I look at basically the population in Dutchess County's gone down. Our enrollment in our schools have gone out homes and households. I'm not sure that makes a lot of sense, to tell you the truth. When I look at the budget, okay, and you know, there's a lot of expertise in here, and I'm not trying to be critical of anybody, but you know, the actual expenses last year were $49 million. We're being asked to approve a budget, and you look at the details, of $54 million. Okay, again, I'm a pretty good accountant, I'm certified. Doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense to me. When I look at the expenditure lines, you know, I see pension costs going up 10%. There's nobody in this room that gets a pension contribution worth 10%. You know, when the stock market has gone up so much in the last 4 or 5 years, you really got to wonder. And it's not anybody locally, it's somebody up in Walden at the state level that's pumping up that pension by 10%. I would never in a million years tell Brian that he couldn't have a pension because they work very hard. But there's got to be some solution to this. I'm going to end by saying I did develop a program, which I I thought to myself, what would I do if I were on this board? First of all, there is an association of all of the trustees. I'm not sure anybody participates in Red Hook. I would commit myself to working very hard. I don't have a full-time job. I'm retired, to working very hard up in Albany to try to get some of these issues resolved. Someone had mentioned whatever you call the programs that are necessitated by Albany, that's got to change. You know, the second thing is there has to be some quality measurements in that program. When I look at it, and again, there's some experts in this area, you know, the graduation rate is about 87%. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. To me, as an accountant, 87% doesn't sound so good. The last thing I'll leave you with is that our young people don't come back to Red Hook. Okay? If you talk to your people, they graduate from high school, they go to college, they don't come back. Why don't they come back? There's no jobs. And as a matter of fact, I did a little survey around, and you could raise your hand if you have adult children. I've got a couple. They don't come back to Red Hook, they're just down. So those are some of the global issues that we need to face. And again, I'm kind of hoping I don't get elected, by the way, because it's a lot of work. But when you look at that budget, and there are going to have to be some difficult decisions made over the next couple of years. Paul had mentioned that. So thank you very much. And if somebody gets elected, good luck. The last thing I wanted to mention is Dr. did have a great idea about the technical aspects. Because I was thinking about Charlie, who had an assignment. And I have a great state-of-the-art computer system in my office at home. I wondered about the kids that don't have a computer system. And Doc at the last meeting had talked about trying to do something. I think, Paul, you said that you used maybe the poverty level of kids, 27%, 23%. So that, irregardless of what happens with the election, that should be a priority.
Now, the last candidate is Kate Corbett. How do I follow that?
Thank you. I think the first thing I'd like to say is those are three very incredible people. So it's an honor to be running with all of you. And I think, you know, the beauty of being last is that I can just stand up here and echo everything they said, because I think we all have a lot of similarities in what drew us to do this. I'm Kate Corbett. I lived here for 12 years. I have 4 children. I have a husband who has a medical practice for small business owners. I, prior to moving here, had an 11-year career on Wall Street. A lot of people don't know that about me. Contrary to my sister, who's a teacher, my father, who ran Boys and Girls Clubs, my mom, who ran community centers, I went the corporate route. But what I did there was work in human resources and had a terrific career. Similar to what Dean said, I worked in recruitment and development. So I too worked with young professionals for 11 years. I actually entered my career and left my career as millennials were coming through. I have a lot of funny stories I could share with you about the transition of people coming through asking me if their mom could interview on their behalf and so forth. So we started to see trends changing amongst young people. And what did I get out of that career? I have incredible management skills. I work very, very hard through very trying times. Tremendous diversity outreach in corporate America. I actually ran a global program where I actually was awarded the most diverse program in the company that is 300,000 people. So I'm very proud of that. Negotiation skills, collaboration, lifelong skills that brought me up to the Hudson Valley. Clearly took some time to have those 4 babies pretty close together. And also was really happy to make that choice. But in the interim, like many working moms who may take a break from their careers, something was missing in me. And it was that fierce drive to be a leader, to make a difference, and to make an impact. And so I set a course literally from day one when I met Karen Lippy and she pulled me into the Mother's Club at the hospital, making a name for myself. And it's interesting because people have said to me lately, oh, your name's everywhere. Well, a name's everywhere because of what you do and how you contribute. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud that my name's everywhere, good or bad, because I feel that I have permeated this community in many ways. Through the work I do at the school, through a lot of work I've done with Astor Services for Children and Families, for the hospitals, for soccer clubs, sports clubs, and the like. You name it, we've been there, and we will always be there. And so why am I here today? Just like everybody else, I think we're super invested in our children. I do think we're in a critical time. I think as parents, we are not necessarily armed with all the answers, and parents are supposed to have all the answers. We are navigating through times unknown to most. I mean, I know I myself am pretty confident in my parenting, and I have been utterly gobsmacked with what I'm dealing with. I'm seeing some nodding heads here. I think we have an incredible community, but it is a community that is very, very diverse from a socioeconomic standpoint, from just, personal backgrounds, personal preferences, and collaboration and community is the only way to get something done. And I agree with what Dean said and everybody else. We have to come together. We have to set aside, maybe some of our own personal choices and preferences, and we have to think broadly about every child in this district. I sat through a meeting yesterday and we talked a lot about unreachable families. There are 23% poverty, people that don't have the internet. There is not one solution to many of the issues we're facing as a district. So we need to have open ears, open eyes. We need to listen, need to be a voice to the parents and the educators. I think poor teachers, my sister's a 20-year teacher, it is your fault oftentimes when kids are failing because parents are at wit's end, and that's not fair either. You're under tremendous pressure, bigger class sizes, less resources. I mean, again, these are critical times. So I feel my track record, coupled with the fact that I'm going to dig in and be part of the school district, like it or not, for a long time, I have a lot to bring. I have a lot of collaborative skills. I'm a leader. I absolutely have a strong voice. There's some personal friends here who are probably nodding. Bossy pants, Kate, that's fine, I'll take it. And I believe in this district. It is a wonderful place to live. I actually think good things are coming to our area. I always call this like a hidden gem. My friends from college call it Canada. But I think we have bright people. We have diversity. We have people who have ideas, who are bringing industry. I do think we're trending, and we just need to get ahead of it, and we need to work together, and I'm really, really up for this challenge. So thank you so much.